Hello everyone, I'm doing some audio tests. Just hold on a few minutes. I think everything is well, so let's start. So welcome to MasterClass number one about monetize. Uh, that's the MasterClass about the first monetize your Android applications. So let's see something. I think it's the second week. So I would like to talk a little bit about to the learning path you can find in the tab learning path on edX. So the idea about to monetize Android apps with business models. So in the first week, you need like for 5 hours and start to February 12th. So uh, we saw some topics very important to monetize, like introduction to monetize, how to monetize apps using subscription and in-app purchases, how to monetize apps using advertising, data from app market, UTM's campaign, tools, Almo, show tools, analytic AdWords fakes. Uh, the second the second lesson, which is the lesson number two, we saw some topics very important, like a business model, monetization model, advertising, monetization models in app purchases, increase your retention and revenue with gamification and payment gateway, key performance indicator, that which is a topic very interesting, extra native ads. And we have some extra content to verify lenders, like e-apps advertising. So yesterday we start with the lesson number three, which is the user acquisition, introduction to user acquisition, tools for creating the current message, user acquisition strategies, SEO for the app stores, introduction to advertising, performance advertising, advertising acquisition. We have some extend exercise here. We have other exercise. So the first one that we check is the analytics activity. It's the first exercise is a topic very important because all mobile application needs analytics. And that's the reason, because we need to know how many users are using our app, or how many users are doing some action. We need to know that. And that's the reason number one, that is very important, the analytics on our Android app. Um, and yeah, always that we always, for example, we have a login page. We need to know how many user has some problems when the login page or the login activity on Android app, and how many users are has a successful login, for example. So we need all the data that is collected. That's the reason number one. That is very important. The activity, the analytics activity. So we have the activity on lesson one. You can go through the course, and we can find, you can download the PDF version here, but the analytics activity is mostly to create events or action, always that you open the first activity. We have all the steps, like open the Android Studio, create application name, your project location, to select different factors. Always, I just like to check the phone and tablet. I think with API 19 is very well, so you can choose in whatever situation about your app. But I recommend to use as min SDK like app API 19. Do a basic activity, you create your activity, and here it's very easy to add access network because all the events are tracked through internet. So you need to add the access or manifests. Uh, add the following dependencies. The dependencies are related to GMS and are related to add the analytics library. So you just to go to the project level build Grado and add classpath com.google.gms Google Service 3. You can you can search on Google what is the latest version. Other option is add the Firebase Analytics, and you can see that the latest version about the Firebase core is 11.8. So after you add the dependency on the project build Gradle, you add the following dependency. It's very important that you open your analytics.google.com, and you can see here all mobile app data. So right now we don't have active users, but you can see stuff like app versions, added users only, sessions by country, stuff like that. Stuff's very important. But if you see here in place your tracking ID, we need to generate that track ID or analytics Google. So always that you with always that you create a app here on analytics, you are able to see that tracking ID. And if you see, So you need to go to property settings. After that, you can see that here we have our tracking ID. It's the same like that. So you need just to copy and replace on your global tracker. The global tracker you need to create XM resource on XM folder using our own analytics account. You create your app, accept the terms, copy your tracking ID, you copy the tracking ID. After that, you can retrieve the tracker object in your main activity. So it's easy to open you can see here on analytics application, you you create a field to Google Analytics, tracker, all in your analytics object or reference, you create a new tracker, you add the global tracker, which is the file that you create in this step. So always that you needs to retrieve your tracker object in your main activity. So you create an object analytics application, which is this class, and you start to send events on your M tracker objects. And already you run your application, you can see all the events. As explained, we have a few events. Yeah, time. Yeah. So we can track events like screen events, which are the events that, for example, when you open your login page or your login activity, or for example, you are open your sign up screen. So you can start to track all the events about the screens. It's very easy to. Other way, we have, for example, normal events like when you push a button. So I think it's very useful that you need to try, and it's very easy to tracking events. And the importance is because you know that all data is very important and it's a great part to to monetize your application because you can take decisions about your data. So it's a very important topic. So that's the exercise number 1 on lesson 1. We have the lesson number 2. So we've found the activity of the lesson number 2. We close all the tabs. It's about the 3 keys to app success. You have some questions on some quiz here. That's related to Google layout of the latest year. Uh, I will. I think it's very useful because the Google people are telling you, "Hey man, we have 3 keys to app success." So I think you is a very useful resource. So please watch all the video and try to put attention about the each key. Are like 43 minutes, but are are more are like a 43 minutes, very useful. So please watch the video and try to understand all the keys. um, I think is a topic very interesting. So please watch the video. That's the activity on lesson number 2. And about that, the activity on lesson number 3. That's the this week. So the activity lesson number 3 is a topic that you need to consider on your app, because always that you distribute your Android application through Google Play, you need to, or the app need to follow some policies. For example, you cannot distribute an Android app with sexually explicit content, or your app are doing some spam, or are doing some malicious behavior. I think it's very useful that you need to read all the developer policy center, because on that way you can distribute your Android app without restrictions. I think when the people on the Google Play check your app, and they need that all the policies, and it is like a resume on that document, and we have some questions. So please read the resume, but I think it's very useful that you need to read all the developer content policy. Has a great content. Yeah, and the other activity on lesson number 3 is about the setting up Facebook audience network ads. Here, we will explain the next masterclass, but here we are playing more with all related to create ads. You can see that you are able to create a ad like this. You have mostly all the instructions. If you can see the solution, you can go to, you can go to the GitHub, can download the solution. But I think you need to try to create this exercise because it's very useful. After that, you will see that what better ad is, if ad mode is better than Facebook. So you can follow MicroMaster Android. You have all the repositories here. You can, if you can see, for example, the exercise number 1, you can download here. You have the solution. So I think it's a very useful repository. So please check it out. Yeah, I think we are done with the masterclass number 1 on Monetize. Please, if you have some questions, go to discussion or the forum. We try to answer all the questions. And thank you so much.